What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. You might notice we have some fun little goodies here. These are from our friend at Big J Customs. He's the same person that made us our very own Funko Pops back here. We're going to talk about this later, and he sent us some fun stuff to give away, so make sure you stick around for that.
Our first question comes from Cameron Story, Caleb Diaz, and Mr. JD Rice, who ask about Star Wars Celebration cancellation and if we can expect a digital event in its place.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't announce anything digital in its place. And yeah, I mean, it's a bummer, but we all kind of saw this coming, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's better safe than sorry, of course. And I guess a lot of people were shocked that they bumped it 2 years.
Yeah,
instead of next year, but I think that's probably because of D23.
Yeah, it sounds like because D23 is every 2 years, they were going to start alternating, and Celebration was just going to be every 2 years from now on anyway. But obviously, they're not going to wait 2 years to start talking about some of the stuff they were going to announce because Mandalorian Season 2 starts in October. They're not going to not do trailers and stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if they're going to still release just a bunch of stuff during those 4 days in August, or maybe they're going... I've read some people online saying that they've heard they're going to spread this stuff out now. So we might get more book announcements earlier than we were going to, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely still do like a Star Wars show type thing that's a live stream and announce stuff that way, but I do think spreading this stuff out might work to their advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it is fun. It's fun both ways. It's really fun to be there in person and like get to celebrate all of that stuff together. But if you can't do that, I'm fine with them spreading it out. But then again, if they did come out and say, hey, we are still going to have Celebration, kind of like the same way San Diego Comic-Con is having a digital thing, I think that would still be really fun, and you'd get a sense of community, and like I'm sure we would hop on live streams and just have big discussions about it. I would really look forward to that. It would be a nice consolation prize, I guess.
Yeah. Well, now everyone can do whatever panels they want to do on their respective channels. Yeah,
now you don't have to do fan panel submissions. Everyone can just do their own things. I do have some ideas for panels that we might do in place of Star Wars Celebration, just so we still kind of get that little boost of energy and get to have a little celebration of our own.
Triggers Bear wants to know what we hope the next Star Wars game looks like after Squadrons.
How like us all Star Wars fans to be like, all right, we got this new thing, and like, but what's next?
Okay, yeah. What else did we get?
But I'm on board. It's fun to speculate on this stuff, and honestly, like I don't really care. I'm not super invested in what's next because I want it to be maybe for the people who haven't gotten what they wanted yet. Because I'm like, okay, they're nailing it for me. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is like just my type of story-driven third-person action-adventure game. And then the next thing I would have wanted to see is exactly what Star Wars Squadrons is.
Pilots.
Yeah, pilots and ships and like... And it's so weird and fun that these two games couldn't be more different from each other, but they're still set in the same universe, and that's like one of the joys of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It appeals to so many people in so many different ways.
I mean, we've talked about the potential sequel to Fallen Order before, and I think if that's going to happen, that would be the next game.
I guess I don't see that coming out until 2022 or so. Like, I think that would need 3 years. So I'm hoping that there's something else in between. I guess something like KOTOR would be fun. I think we're going to talk about KOTOR in a later question. But yeah, like, I don't think there's been a real Star Wars RPG game lately. So something like that, I think would be for people who haven't gotten that type of game, that are just waiting for it.
Would you want it like set in the sequel trilogy maybe? Because I feel like it would be cool to have a game set in that time with those characters.
I'm still waiting for things to go back. We're getting it with the High Republic. Like, I would rather get out of these known areas. So I would want to go Old Republic.
Okay. Well, I guess one thing that I was thinking of from episode 9 that I want to see in a game is Exegol.
Yeah, we'll see. You could still do that in KOTOR. In a KOTOR remake, like,
Yeah.
we could follow a Sith character that finds his way. Like, that would be cool. If that's your quest, to find Exegol. That'd be neat.
BB Nate asks why the Empire worked with crime lords instead of wiping out their influence.
I think that this was probably a case of the Death Star wasn't ready, and the Emperor really put all of his eggs in one basket there. And that was his plan, to be like, okay, we have this thing that can blow up planets, and then everyone's going to be afraid of it, and we're going to control the galaxy. In the meantime, I think maybe he thought it was just easier to work with people like Jabba the Hutt and let them do their thing. We're going to blow you up later anyway, so...
Yeah, I think it's all about controlling where the fear is coming from, and it's like, I think the Empire just wanted the crime lords to think they had some play in this game, and then it's like, nope, here's the Death Star, I'm gonna blow everyone up.
Yeah, and also it's like, I'm sure the crime syndicates were offering something. Like,
yeah.
They wouldn't let them operate if they weren't getting something out of it. And I mean, that's something that happens in the real world. Like, governments don't always shut down the things that they should.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure there's some kind of mutual benefit for them working together. Cis Nerd wants to know what our ideal KOTOR remake would look like.
Thought that sounded familiar. So he was asking, like, or she was asking, would this be like a straight remake, like an HD version of the game we already know and love, or would they adapt it, or would it be something new? I think that it would probably be best to do something new. It could be the same style. It could still be Knights of the Old Republic. Revan is such a tough thing now because, well, I've said this before, that I think it would be hard to make a game where it's like you make your own character for this story, because then it's like, well, how does that reconcile with the rest of canon? And I think that's something that should be flexible. And now it sounds like you can make your own character for Star Wars Squadrons. So maybe Lucasfilm is loosening up on that a little bit. And then, like, the important thing is there will be a character named Revan who does this stuff, and those are all the details we know.
Yeah.
But
or, I mean, with all the High Republic stuff coming out, they could do the Knights of the High Republic video game and save, Old Republic stuff for a potential movie trilogy or Disney Plus show.
I think I'm expecting, especially now that we've seen some stuff from the High Republic and the way the galaxy is going to look at that point in time, I think they would have to change a lot about KOTOR and just the way the Old Republic looked. So yeah, they'd probably have to change the time period or the way Terrace is, instead of it looking like just it's different. It looks older, but everything functions basically the same.
Yeah. I
don't think that would fit quite as well. And part of me is also just like, maybe let's not touch that story. It's special to so many people, and like, I love dropping hints about it here and there. Like, Revan has been mentioned in canon. Revan exists, but I don't know. Maybe it would be wiser to just let it stay legend.
Yeah, and in that case, maybe it would just be a remaster of the same game.
Yeah, and I guess they'd have to still label it as Legends, which, I don't know, they've done before. They've put out a new Legends comic, so I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility.
Jared Bowman Stubbs asks who in our respective Schmodown tournaments we would like to face.
So Molly and I are currently both in Schmodown tournaments. I'm competing in Inner Geekdom, which is like a bunch of nerdy stuff, but Molly's in the Star Wars tournament and has already won her first match. So congratulations. I'm very proud.
It's all uphill from here. I'm taking over.
In my tournament, so excluding the champ, Kevin Smets, obviously I want to face him and I want to take that belt. But excluding him, I really hope I make it to Mike Kalinowski. He is on my side of the bracket, and I've been a fan of his in the Schmodown since before I was competing. And I like him a lot, even though he's a bad guy. I think it would be a lot of fun to face him. It's like he's had the belt like 3 times. He's had it a lot, so It would definitely be a challenge, but an exciting one.
Yeah. I know Joseph and Ken, like, they're both insanely good competitors, and they've been doing this for a long time, and we know them personally, so either of them would have been really fun to play against. But honestly, Laura Kelly, like, I just want there to be 2 women competing for the belt.
Yeah, I mean, I it'll be sad for me to have to face you once that happens, but I'll take no joy in destroying you.
We'll see about that. But yeah, it's just nice to see more women making the men in these leagues sweat a little bit. And
for sure.
Yeah, rightfully so.
The Star Wars tournament is so different, I think. It feels like it's evolving into more of a standard Schmodown now, but like it's a smaller pool. Everyone knows each other, so we're like kind of hesitant to like be mean and talk too much smack. But Laura Kelly has gone to the dark side, and I think part of that is like, yeah, we know each other and we're not taking it personally. She's just having fun with the character, and
I think she wants it.
Oh no, she totally does.
And
I just I don't think she's pure evil.
If it can't be me to play you for it, I want it to be her.
That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where we left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content like audio commentaries for the films and for the Clone Wars. This week's episode is The Citadel. And because I'm having so much fun talking about Star Wars Squadrons, I'm going to do a Squadrons-only Q&A next like Friday or so. So if you have any questions about that, you can submit them on Patreon. And Saturday will still be a normal Q&A.
On to YouTube questions. Lachlan Tang asks how people like Yularen and Tarkin reacted to Order 66. Having just watched the Citadel episodes of the Clone Wars, I think Tarkin was probably like,
yeah, I don't think he was
nice.
too upset. He definitely didn't seem to have any kind of respect for the Jedi.
Right. And yeah, I think he was probably excited. It's like, oh, about time someone does something drastic.
Yeah, he's definitely that kind of person to celebrate the death of an entire religion and people, seeing as he's willing to blow up entire planets. Yularen, I think someone like him was probably more confused, and ultimately he accepted it. I guess he bought into the lie that the Jedi betrayed the Republic and tried to assassinate the Chancellor, which, I mean, there is an ounce of truth to all that. And that's like, we've talked about this before, but that was like the whole point of the Clone Wars was Palpatine getting the Jedi to betray their principles so that that whole thing just becomes more believable. Mm-hmm. They tried to kill me and take over. And Mace Windu was talking about taking over the Senate for a time.
Yeah.
And who knows, if they had done that, would they have eventually given it up? I mean, that's kind of the question. So I think Yularen just probably was sad about it, but accepted it.
Yeah, I think his journey to the Empire was probably more one of, well, this is my only choice if I want to continue my career and stay alive. Fighting Falcon 77 wants to know what we think the chances of seeing the Mandalorian Protectors or the Naboo Royal Space Fighter Corps in squadrons are.
Well done reading that. Low, I think the fact that the single player campaign and from what it looks like the multiplayer, that it seems to all take place post Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Naboo Fighter Corps, that's a possibility because they were in Battlefront 2. They were involved in Operation Cinder or protecting Naboo from it. So there's a chance for that, but the maps that they've announced so far, none of them mention Naboo. So unless they show up out of nowhere to like help save the day, I think it's unlikely.
That would be cool though, but
Sure.
I agree. I think both are unlikely.
The Protectors are probably nowhere to be seen at this point. I mean, if we're talking Return of the Jedi, the Great Purge has happened.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably not around. That said, it would be cool if they had like some Rogue Squadron style unlockables where like you could play the N1 Starfighter
Yeah.
back in 1999, right before the movie was coming out. So yeah, it would be cool if you could unlock different starfighters and stuff. That could be like post-launch content as well. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, people are clamoring to get the B-Wing in there. I wouldn't be surprised if the game goes well, maybe they add more ships. Jacob the Hodge asks if Palpatine's obsession with living forever and hoarding power goes against the rule of two.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think Palpatine was a very good... I don't think Darth Bane would have thought Palpatine was a very good Sith.
Yeah, I guess...
He is definitely the culmination, but...
Yeah. I mean, I think we learned this in Episode 9, like, he didn't want to continue the rule of two. He thought he was all the Sith, and that he was gonna just be the bad guy forever.
I mean, that's all very confusing and still does not line up for me.
Well, yeah,
I'm still reconciling all that.
At first, he wanted Rey to kill him, and then he would pass into her, and then she would be Empress Palpatine. But then he was like, "Oh, never mind. You guys are a dyad. I'm taking over."
Right. I once he realized that he could keep power for himself, he was all on board for that. I think, yeah, passing into Rey or whatever that was more of a, it's all I've got, and it's better to have a legacy than to have nothing. So that's what he was going for.
Mm-hmm.
But even in Star Wars Legends, I think in the Darth Plagueis book, Plagueis talks about how they were kind of trying to end the rule of two.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Darth Bane was special for the Sith because he kind of was able to think outside of himself. Although in the trilogy, he does start to kind of regret that and want to try to figure out how to keep his life going, like all Sith do. But the fact that he was so in it for the long game and saying, like, this is how the Sith win. We take our time, and it's not going to happen in my lifetime, but it will happen.
Yeah.
That's just so rare for the Sith because they can't think outside of themselves. And so once you get to Palpatine, it's like, yes, he was the culmination of what Darth Bane wanted. But also he was like, it ends with me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to rule forever.
And like you said, in Legends, he had all those clones. I don't know that the other Sith thought that was fair.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just going to take an apprentice that's also me.
Richard Clark wants to know why those people were guarding the child in the first episode of The Mandalorian. Who were they? Assuming they took one look at it and saw that it was a precious baby angel, I think they were just trying to keep it for themselves.
I don't know that we're ever going to learn the answer to this. I think that really it's just like, yeah, obviously he's precious, or they probably thought this thing's valuable, and that's what was important to them. Maybe we'll learn who they were working for. Maybe we won't. I don't think we have to figure that out. The important thing is that, like, the Mandalorian rescued the child. So as of right now, I figure they were just trying to sell it on the black market or something, and who knows where they got it.
Spoilers, that was actually me in my compound, and I'm secretly going to take him back. Or, no, maybe I'll just join him and the Mandalorian.
You're just gonna... Okay.
I'm gonna join their house.
Okay. A clan of 3, fine.
Yeah.
I'll just hang out here.
Commander Neo asks what non-Star Wars music we plan on listening to while playing Star Wars Squadrons.
So I was just going to use this. This is kind of a cheat, but in Alphabet Squadron, the character Chasna Chaddock, the B-Wing pilot, is known for rocking out to all kinds of music while she dogfights.
Mm-hmm.
And so people took it upon themselves to make playlists on Spotify of like just cool sounding. I mean, obviously it's music from Earth, but it's just very unique. It sounds a lot like I can't remember who did this song, but there's a song in Fallen Order that it sounds very alien, and someone did write that song for the game, but people just are finding very cool and interesting sounding music and making playlists for Chas. So I think it would be cool to pop one of those on and listen to that while you play.
I'm just going to continue to listen to Chromatica.
It's Lady Gaga.
By Lady Gaga, yeah. Ever since that came out, that's all I'm listening to.
I mean, that's very unique too. That's all the time we have for questions today. Like I mentioned at the start, we do have a giveaway going on thanks to our friend at Big J Customs, who sent us all this really cool stuff. This is like a Sith tomb diorama, which, by the way, there's like little Arabesh writing on these obelisks that say "Hello there" and "Star Wars Explained." So that's fun. But these have statues of like Revan and Malak and Nihilus and stuff. He sent us a tiny little Ewok warrior.
Mm-hmm. He's holding a giant gun.
And of course, we have some new things to add to Molly's Baby Yoda collection. That I believe Big J painted himself. And so that's what he is giving away to all you guys. He gave us a bunch of painted minifigs of Baby Yoda and Revan in a couple different styles and Malak. So there's a link in the description if you want to enter that giveaway, and we will announce it next week. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.